All right, I've got a great show for you guys today. We're going to take a step back and first talk about the overall market and some significant data points that we got last week and how they might affect the market going into the end of this year. The first one was the JOLTS report. Now, what it showed is that the labor market is loosening up. Now, you heard for most of 2022 and most of 2023 that the labor market was too tight, which was a concern to the Fed. Basically, he wants to see the labor market as an indicator loosen up, which means that fewer people are filling job positions and the job market is less competitive, because if it's more competitive, then companies have to spend more money bringing on talent and they pass those costs along to the end consumer, putting more pressure on inflation. And so one of his key indicators is the JOLTS report. And the JOLTS report didn't show a tightening labor market like it did in most of 2023 and 2022. It showed a loosening labor market. Matter of fact, it's come down the lowest that it's been in over 2.5 years. And so this could absolutely cause us to believe that the Fed is not going to raise rates, but actually needs to go to cutting rates. This is why a lot of people have already priced in rate cuts in 2024, and this is a huge data point to confirm that they're right. Now, on the other end of sort of a bullish narrative, another critical data point that we just got out was the ISM report. Now, what this actually showed is that the economy is actually getting stronger. And so, yes, we have those same two opposing ideas, which is that big tech might possibly have better earnings in 2024, and yet somehow inflation could continue to come down, allowing the Fed to cut rates. And so we could be entering into a perfect Goldilocks environment. Yet today we see largely a mixed market. We see that it's a lot of red and speckled, a little bit of green here and some gray showing neutral. So right now, in my view, big tech's taking a little bit of a breather. It's not that big of a deal. It largely still points bullish. Nothing looks like capitulation. Nothing looks like a sell-off. I get asked all the time about going inverse against the market with the Qs, the SQ, QQ, right? And I'm going to tell you guys that that's a dangerous move right now, even though it's come down so low, because we've not in any way confirmed that we're going to be going into a sell-off. Right now, we've pushed up, the market's taking a little bit of a breather, and we likely would continue to push higher, especially as we move into the end of this year with the potential of a Santa Claus rally. Now, this is the Stocks with Josh show. I've had an interesting morning. I had a really long day yesterday, having fun out, hanging out with my family, and we went to Disneyland and did a little trading, made enough money while we walked around and waited in the lines to theoretically pay for anything that we could have hoped to have purchased yesterday. But I came into this morning exhausted, and when I woke up this morning pre-market to 6:30, made a few purchases actually from my bed, fell back asleep, made a Discord trade alert, made some money, but some of it was a little bit confusing. I was half awake and half asleep. Then I got up this morning. As you can see, I accidentally shaved off my beard. I had a new shaver that my son ordered for me. The old one had a couple things that were going wrong with it. And you know the old saying, you can't teach old dog new tricks? Man, I was trying to figure out this thing, and next thing you know, I shaved off my beard. So probably the first time you guys have seen me with a cleaner face. Hopefully it'll grow back quickly. But this is the Stocks with Josh show. Thank you guys for joining me today. On this page and in the Discord, I am constantly doling out hot trades, trade setups, and charts. And I'm telling you, I've got that going on today, and it's free. All you have to do is hit the like and show a little love in the comment for me and keep me motivated and keep me going. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start off here with the crypto heat map, and we can see that it's also taking a breather, but it's by no means capitulating, and it's by no means selling off. Bitcoin monumentally ran up to 44.5, just a little bit underneath that price point, and it didn't sell off. And so I just want you guys to be clear. Until we get that FOMO wick, that massive wick on the top of the daily, the weekly, or the monthly chart, we have to assume that Bitcoin's going to continue to go higher. Now, is this uncharacteristic? Was this unexpected? The answer is absolutely not. This is why when it was above 25K, I was screaming, everything is going according to plan, and this thing is going to go higher. Now, we did have an unusual moment between 30,000 and 26,000 where it was a decision zone, but it kept making higher lows, and eventually it broke out above the area of resistance, which was 30,800, and it's been a rocket ship ever since. Where is it ultimately going to go? Where is the moon for Bitcoin right now? Well, the next significant area of resistance is 48K. After that, there's a stronger resistance at 50. Because we haven't sold off, there's every bit a chance that this is going to go up to 48. And likewise, since the miners are vacillating at the top of their current range and resistance, they themselves, Mara and Riot, could push as high as $20 a share, and some of the smaller miners could go pretty high as well. They've had massive run-ups. But then there's going to be a ton of people that are saying, well, Josh, if you think that Bitcoin's going to 48K, should I load up on Bitcoin right now? Well, you know what? I'm going to say that, for one, I'm not making suggestions for you to buy, sell, or hold, but I will tell you what I'm thinking about crypto right now and what I did. So here's the way it works, right? When Bitcoin runs up, you typically see that ETH, after it pauses and pulls back and it finds its top, you'll find that ETH will, shortly after it, it'll roll up and find its local top, but it sort of lags. They'll go up together, but ETH will find its peak after Bitcoin finds its peak. And then after ETH, you often see the altcoins individually find their peak. So they'll run up together, but there is a flow of money from the big boy of Bitcoin to ETH and eventually to the alts. And typically the last one to run are the meme coins, the Doge and the SHIB. So even this is not a suggestion for what you guys should do, but I'm going to tell you guys what I did. For one, I'm in all of these, and I'm not selling them because I don't intend to sell them right now, and some people are confused by that. Now, all I can tell you is you can keep watching, and you'll hopefully eventually understand my logic. Because you don't know whether or not this thing is going to go higher or how low it's going to go. At this stage in the crypto winter, you don't attempt to second guess. Now, can I run charts? Can I figure out where support and resistance is? Absolutely. But unless I'm going to sit there and watch it day and night, I don't want to try to miss the top or miss the bottom. And so during this time frame, I'm just going to hold. Now, I know that eventually in the end of 2024 or the beginning or first quarter of 2025, I believe that all of these will find their peak. And that's going to be the time that's going to be very, very hard to lock in some profits for money that I invested in 2022 and all of 2023 will likely be taken profit for in 2025, the first quarter of 2025. But I am going to be swing trading some of the cryptos, and because I don't want to chase adding more Bitcoin at this elevated level like the way so many people will do, I don't want my fam to be doing it, I'm going to be looking at how does the money flow through crypto. Well, typically the last cryptos that run are the meme coins, and even though they've come up off their lows, these could be having a breakout moment in the coming days and weeks. Once the momentum for Bitcoin and ETH and the large cap alts slows down, you could see money pouring into the meme coins. And so because of that, I bought a couple really big bags, tens of thousands of dollars in Doge and SHIB for a swing trade. So I bought them over this last weekend from my hotel room. One time when I couldn't sleep, I was thinking about all this and I said, you know what, let me just take a swing on the memes. I'm up thousands of dollars. I'm able to put in stop losses, and so already this looks like a pretty good trade. I'm actually believing that the tens of thousands of dollars that I invested could actually completely 2x for me, and I could double that money. Could be a massive win going into the end of this year. Not telling you guys what to do, I'm just telling you what I'm doing. Now, let me just take a very quick station break. I want you guys to check out the Moomoo app. These guys are offering a zero cost to trade platform, plus they're giving away free stock, up to 15 free stock. And for all the cash that you put into it, you're getting a really high 5.1 interest rate on your money sitting there when you're not trading, which is pretty good. So check out the link for yourself. It's in the top pinned comment. Get your free stock and start trading with some better trade tools. Okay, let's get into some of my significant trades. Guys, these are trade alerts. These are trade setups that I'm actively in right now. I want you guys to pay very close attention to them. You can get questions answered on these trades in the Discord. I'm going to be posting more details about these trades over there. The Stock Squad Patreon. That's where you get 4 traders, Stockmo, Keenan Grace, Stock Up with Larry Jones, and myself over there helping you guys with technicals and with trade alerts. All right, the very first one I'm going to be talking about is Alibaba. So You know, it's almost like I need to talk about these every single day so that people don't get confused. When Baba had their last earnings, it was not what the market wanted to hear, and the stock since capitulated rather than running up. Now, this is a time for me to buy. I'm going to be accumulating this lower range because Alibaba is actually in pretty good shape when it comes to looking at it from a long-term investment. Now, does it have risks? It's an ADR, it's a Chinese company, and there's all sorts of problems with it. That's why the stock is so beaten down in price. Now, if you're willing to accept those risks and you're willing to accumulate when it goes to its potential bottom, then Alibaba is setting up really well for a long-term investment. I'm buying shares daily of Alibaba, but I'm also in puts for a bigger capitulation moment. When it failed to bounce off of 73, it determined to me that we were going to fall beneath $70. May or may not happen. I've saw other influencers, even guys in the stock squad, who are entering calls on Baba right now while I'm in puts, which they can make those profitable because you're going to see some volatility here at the bottom. But personally, I'm in puts and I'm buying the shares. So I'm buying the shares to go long, and I'm in puts right now for a capitulation move. I'm going to hopefully take some profit on that and roll it into the shares. And then at that point, I'll let you guys know if I switch from Alibaba puts to Alibaba calls. But I wanted you guys to be clear, I've not seen the volume come into Alibaba to push higher. This is not bullish until it gets back above $76. And all I'm seeing is that each and every day we're going a little bit lower, hovering right now above $72. Guys, I want to make sure that everyone's getting the signals on the alarms and the trade alerts. That's what I'm doing with Alibaba. Don't get it confused. Don't come back to me later and not know what's happening. I'm buying Alibaba shares. I'm in Alibaba puts. Real quick, let me know what you guys are doing with Alibaba. Were you disgusted by it? Did you walk away and you're not touching it right now? Do you like it as a long-term investment? Are you in puts? Are you in calls? Let me know in the comment section. Okay, the next one, which we've made a ton of money on this page in the past, Eli Lilly. It's setting up, and right now I'm watching it very closely, and I'm going to give you guys a scenario where if we get above, we'll go higher. If we get below, we'll go lower. But right now, my eyes are on Eli Lilly, and I would suggest you guys putting it on your watch list because this can be very explosive here very soon. Price is compressing. I'm expecting an expansion moment of price. We're either going to break up and make an absolute record all-time high on Eli Lilly, or we're going down from here and we're at the top. I don't think we're at the top. I think we're potentially going to break higher. And here's what I'm watching out for. So first, I want to point out something in the chart. We made a series of higher lows, which is very bullish, right? Now we're getting a little bit of a pendant, a little bit of a triangle shape going, and we're vacillating around a very critical area of what used to be resistance, which could become strong future support. And this is going to be the buy signal for calls, a move and close above $598. I think that if we get that, we're off to the moon. Now, the targets above would be an immediate move up to $612. But I would also tell you to put these take profit targets on your chart, which is $634 and $650. That's where I think this thing is going if it closes above $598. Now, on the other side of the coin, if this is not Eli Lilly's moment to shine, and if we close beneath $583, then the next area of support beneath it is $557, which would be quite a move down. That would be profitable to ride puts down to $557. But like I said, I want you guys to have your eyes open on these charts. You can always and should always prepare for what I would call a market fake out. That's where it makes things confusing. It comes down, makes it look like it's going to close beneath that level of 200, but instead it then finds support and volume, and it then shoots up above that 598 that I'm telling you is the confirmation to enter calls, and we're going off to the races, up to the moon. Guys, that's what I'm watching for Eli Lilly. Make sure that you carefully listen to all the technicals I just gave you and carefully study the chart for yourself so that you properly understand exit and entry on that play. I will give more details in writing in the Discord. If you're interested in the Discord, that's the Patreon, the Stock Squad Patreon. Click on the link in the top pinned comment. It'll take you there where you can join and come find some of those details. All right, the last stock that I'm going to cover, which I think has really been an amazing ride. If you have joined me on it, then you have made a ton of bucks. I've left some money on the table because, I often cash out a little early, but I'm on some calls, but it's Norwegian Cruise Lines. I called this a buy under $13 on this page and in the Discord. It's taken off like a rocket ship. It's sitting at $18 today. Guys, I was actually in some calls that expired at the end of this week. I was actually in some calls that expired at the end of this week that had been at 8 cents that have moved all the way up above $2, right? And so we're talking turning $100 into thousands and thousands of dollars. Guys, some of it I cashed out way too early. I'm still holding all my shares, and I want you guys to have some fresh technicals. First, this thing was under $13. It's now sitting at $18.20. It's up today alone on an increase in volume of 71%, which means that the volume has practically doubled as this stock has been pushing higher, and so there could be some confluence there. But we also need to make sure that when we have a big volume day after a peak in the stock, that it's not a distribution moment. And so we need to keep our eye on the volume for Norwegian Cruise Lines. Now, here's what I really think is going to happen. Largely, I see us having had this massive move up, and we're going to consolidate between $16 and $18. Now, there's no guarantee that it'll go down to $16, but there's the potential that it could. We're largely going to digest this massive move up from $13 right underneath the $18 mark, and then we're going to make another push up as high as $20. And you guys might say, well, Josh, is that going to be the end? Well, first off, you may consider taking profits between $18 and $20 because it's already run up a ton. But here's what I want you guys to be watching. If you look at the long-term view of Norwegian Cruise Lines, you can see that we're up against a descending line of resistance. Now, I've been charting for decades, and I can tell you that these stocks like to go from their bottoms all the way back up to these areas and touch these lines every once in a while, and it looks to me like we are moving up to touch that line. That line right now is sitting around $20. Now, eventually, I probably would be rejected there. People would take profit, and we would continue to come down and find a higher low. Now, I want you guys to see that we're slowly making higher lows, and we've been slowly up against that line of resistance. And what ultimately is going to happen is we're going to have a very bullish moment where we break that. What that's going to be is a 3-year descending line of resistance that's largely been pushing the stock down. And the day that we break that and close above it, it's going to open up a much bigger window higher. We're no longer going to be trading in a tighter price range. Largely, that's been between $12 and $20 for the last couple years. We're going to now enter into the price range between $16 and $18, all the way up to $36 to $40. And so, if you're a long-term investor, Norwegian Cruise Lines still looks very attractive for a long-term play. I've been playing this. If you've been on my channel, you know that I trade this stock regularly. I've done a deep dive on this for you guys in the past. I love the CEO. I love companies in which I love the management and everything they do. These guys have debt under control. He's a legacy manager, in my opinion, which means that he's had a long career in this. I don't expect any major changes, and I expect him to continue to build this company he grew it from a handful of ships to the massive name that it is today. And under his watch, I think it's going to continue to thrive. The only concern that I would have for Norwegian Cruise Lines is if it lost its current CEO. Then I would be very concerned until we saw who the replacement was. And if he brought somebody into that position who had been around under his leadership for a long time, I would be okay with that. But I love the company. I think they're doing things right. It's my best in class for me personally. I know some people love to trade Carnival. It's also going to have similar performance because I think there's still going to be a lot of revenge traveling from the shutdowns. There's people that are still just now beginning to take vacations that they missed in 2020, 2021, 2022. There are people who are still trying to get out there and live their best lives, coming out from underneath the rock of what was a global shutdown. And so these are going to continue to do well. We saw that Disney was investing heavily in their cruise ships because they said that it was proving to be a profitable business for them. And so we're seeing a lot of confluence. We saw over in Asia that they're also beginning to book a ton of more cruises. So I think the cruises are going to break out into that $20 to $40 range in 2024. Now, we're still under that descending line of resistance. And so ultimately, I think that we're going to come back, and we could come back between now and hitting $20. We could come back to around $14, right, before we pop out of that descending line of resistance. And if we go up, I'm going to be looking carefully to add heavily to my long-term position if I get the opportunity of buying some back under $15. I want you guys, I don't talk about Norwegian every day, but when I do, I want you guys to have a clear picture as to what I'm doing. I've been saying for the last year and a half that I'm very bullish on this stock and that I regularly buy it for my long-term portfolio. And it continuously has given us opportunities to pick it up under $13, and every single time it's been a buy. We had an opportunity here just in the last month to get it under $13. Bam, it's up at $18, and I think we're going to go to 20. And so we're going to get that opportunity again, and I will talk about it again in the coming days. All right, that's pretty much all I've got for you guys today. I am doing a live, not me, I'm participating in a live over on Stock Up with Larry Jones's page this evening. I wouldn't miss it. I know it's going to be a good live show with the Stock Squad. I also just wanted to say thank you guys for joining me today, and I am going to be dropping a hot play in the Discord. I've got some strong opinions about NVIDIA. So if you guys want those, you need to join me over in the Discord. Hit that subscribe. Continue to get these videos. We'll talk to you very soon. I'll let you guys know the outcome of that big crypto play. You guys will see it for yourselves if the meme coins take off, which I'm expecting that they will in the course of the next month. Guys, thank you all. Peace and blessings. Take care.